My dear friends, today on the ROBOTY channel, we have a long-awaited episode you've been asking for in the comments for a long time, so today we're installing air conditioning. On one hand, this episode is aimed at people who would like to become air conditioning installers, and on the other hand, we'll answer all the questions that might come to mind for those who want to have air conditioning installed at home. So make sure to stay until the end of the episode, and what about us? Let's get to work. With me is Slawomir, welcome. Hi, he's the installer and the expert for today's episode. Today, this house has already been standing for 5 years since it was built. There's no stress that something might, let's say, fall apart or something won't work.
I think there won't be any problems and nothing will surprise us today. We'll try to show that it's really not that scary.
And that's the point. In just a moment, we'll get to work. But the question is, there's a lot of equipment here. Is all of it really necessary?
Yes, everything is necessary. Today, we're going to install 2 devices, 2 air conditioners. So we've got quite a bit of stuff here.
So let's take this inside the house and get to work.
Exactly.
Let's get to work. The installation will be at my house. If you've seen this series on finishing this house, great. If not, go watch it. After 5 years, we're back at this house filming again, this time with the air conditioning. And here's the question that got me so fired up earlier, and probably the viewers too. We have an apartment, we have nice walls, concrete, wallpapers, stretch ceilings, and is it possible to do this installation in a clean, tidy way without drilling, cutting, or plastering?
Yes, every installation is different, of course, but there are ways. We have special surface mount channels for the installation, which actually allow us to do the installation without any dust. So it's definitely doable. The indoor unit will be installed here on the left side of the TV. We'll run almost the entire installation into the garage, so this wall will remain untouched, and we'll run all the lines in the garage, in the cable channels.
And let's say home air conditioning installations are divided into 2 types, right?
That's right. We have splits and multi-splits. A split is a device where 1 outdoor unit powers only 1 indoor unit, and with multi-splits, 1 outdoor unit can power up to 5 indoor units. So with 1 device in an apartment, we can have 5 indoor units in different rooms.
But as I noticed, we have 4 boxes, which means 2 indoor units and 2 outdoor units. So why are we using this kind of system?
Here, it was very difficult for us to do the installation in such a way that everything would be connected to 1 outdoor unit. So the decision was made to install 2 devices.
So one will be downstairs here above the TV and the other one upstairs in the hallway.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's how the installation will go. How does planning work in your job?
Before each installation, we must inspect the site and clarify the client's expectations, since there are various types of air conditioning. Here, you always have to ask what the client expects and, so to speak, choose the best solution. Air conditioners really have so many built-in features now, like devices that have, for example, 360-degree airflow, just like the units we're going to install today. It's a really nice feature in rooms like this one, where there's a sofa in front of the air conditioner, and you probably spend a lot of time on it. We can use the remote or our phone to adjust the louvers so that the whole apartment stays cool, but nothing blows directly on us.
Let's get to work. The installation must continue and summer is near. We need cooling now, and in winter it can provide heating.
Right? Absolutely. Every air conditioner has a heating function, and it's really a great solution. We'll probably mention that too.
We'll mention it and test it later. The installation is already underway upstairs as well. The workers are already working here, and the plan for upstairs is more complicated than what you said downstairs.
Exactly. Here we need to get the installation from this place upstairs. When we first opened the attic floor, we found we were hitting the ventilation system ducts, which we'll need to work around.
We installed the ventilation system here. You must not have seen my episode. If you knew about the ventilation system, you'd know where the ducts are, but they're hidden. So we have to install the air conditioning here, running it through the ceiling and attic, and only from the attic.
We'll be going outside, exactly.
So, after all, it would have been better to contact you guys during the design and finishing stages of the house rather than now, but you can still do it now too.
It's definitely much easier to do the installation during the construction stage. But if someone doesn't foresee it right away, things happen on a construction site, and then you have to improvise.
Exactly, but are there situations where you say, no, we wash our hands of this, we won't do it because it's not possible?
We haven't really encountered such a situation yet. We always try to find some solution so, everything can be done.
How many people are usually needed for this installation? It's hard to do alone.
You know what? Usually it's 2 people who go out for each installation. That's because these devices are quite heavy. One person could install it, but it would be very difficult.
So the devices look pretty simple, but then there's all the connections, because for every air conditioner we still need that water pipe, and we have to drain the condensate water somewhere.
Every air conditioner produces condensate during cooling, and that condensate needs to be drained.
Breakthrough from that side.
Yes, more or less in this spot. We'll come here into the garage, and then we'll run the lines this way and go up through here, because we'll be placing the units on the roof.
We're not breaking through the roof, though that was considered earlier.
Yes, no, we won't be breaking through the roof, because then there's a risk of flooding and it's very difficult to secure the installation itself. So we generally avoid that.
The garage isn't ready yet, which many Poles probably dream of.
And that's the last thing in every home, right?
The house is ready, but the garage is a mess and the car won't fit. If you have the same issue with unfinished floors and walls, let me know in the comments.
It's also very important here to keep a gap between the top of the air conditioner and the ceiling, because the air conditioner draws in air from the top.
Oh, so it doesn't go all the way to the ceiling?
No, it absolutely can't be pushed up to the ceiling. There has to be at least 10 centimeters of space, and 15 is ideal.
It starts off innocently, I have to say. This installation goes step by step, but once it gets to all those connections and attachments, that's when the real work will probably begin. Right now it's basically just like hanging a TV on the wall.
So now we're going to make a hole with a diamond drill. It's a really cool thing. Mainly because with this setup, we can connect a vacuum cleaner to the drill, and almost all the debris and dust generated by the drill will be sucked into the vacuum cleaner.
And would you say this is the standard method you use for installations, or are there installers who are less professional? Because I see you have a lot of equipment here and it's really professional. What does it look like on the current market for installers who do this kind of work?
To be honest, most installers now use this kind of equipment for drilling. It's much faster to drill with it, and it definitely takes a lot less effort from the installer.
Complications and solutions.
That's right.
So something we like on the ROBOTY channel, because solutions are the most important. What did we come up with here?
While taking apart the floor here, it turned out that we have a manifold in the path of our lines. And unfortunately, because of the heat recovery ventilation system, we can't bypass it in any way. So we had to find an alternative route for our Freon lines. So we're leaving the attic alone, and we'll somehow go through the walk-in closet to the outside to connect the units.
Give us the technical explanation, but in a way everyone can understand. How does air conditioning work? Because that's important too. We have an indoor unit and an outdoor unit. In my opinion, we can compare it to a refrigerator, but to put it in simple terms, let's explain what connects to what and how it cools.
The process is very simple. In the outdoor unit, we have a compressor that compresses the refrigerant inside. Then this refrigerant, through our Freon lines, meaning the pipes that we will be running, is delivered to the indoor unit. Here, expansion takes place and cold air is blown into the room by the fan. The air from inside the room enters the air conditioner, is cooled by these fins, and is blown back inside by the fan. So we don't draw any air from outside, nothing. This is a closed system. Alright, so we have the unit ready. Now the guys will drill a hole to the outside and we'll start the installation.
Is this soldered? How do you turn it on?
All the connections here are threaded connections. We'll be flaring the installation and then tightening everything with torque wrenches.
So we managed to get through.
Yes, we're already outside. Now the next step will be to do the installation. Now we need to install the channels here where our lines will run to connect the units. Then we'll be able to turn on the first air conditioner.
So the installation itself, let's say the lines, pipes and so on, they can go up, down and so on, but the condensate lines have to be sloped.
Yes. If we don't install a condensate pump, the condensate lines have to go down with a slope. That's obvious, you can't cheat physics. And the installation itself doesn't really limit us in any way. We can go up, down, sideways at an angle, so we can run the lines however we like. The refrigerant flows through these pipes. One pipe is thicker, the other pipe is actually heavier, and one is for gas. In one, gas flows, and in the other, liquid flows. And the compressor does this. When the gas form returns from the indoor unit, the compressor turns it back into liquid form and pumps it as a liquid back to the unit. And there it turns back into gas again. So these two pipes are responsible for that.
The two pipes are connected to this indoor unit, that's right.
Now we also need to add a communication cable, which is the cable that sends a signal from the outdoor unit to the indoor unit, telling it when to turn on and which mode we choose. Here we also have a condensate hose. This is a flexible hose that is used to drain water from the indoor unit. For now, we won't need it here, because the condensate drainage system will be completely installed inside the house and connected to the sewage system, where we also have the heat pump connected.
And when is the best time for installation? Now it's the beginning of spring and it's still a bit chilly, so I think we thought about it at the right time, but probably most people decide to do it when it's really hot and ask you to come and install it.
Yes, that's right. When the peak season really starts, it's already the end of May, when the temperatures are a bit higher. Well, summer is crazy, to be honest. The phones just don't stop ringing.
So it's like one installation a day, right?
We do about 2 or 3 a day. One team can install 2 air conditioners during the season. If it's a straightforward installation through the wall, drilling, putting the unit on a balcony somewhere, then it's about 4 hours per system. No problem at all.
Do you earn enough in summer to take winter off, or what do you do?
I wish. No, it doesn't work like that. We're lucky that we have quite a few business clients who really take care of their air conditioning and do regular maintenance checks. So at the end of the season, we always do maintenance checks at various institutions. We have quite a lot of that. And it's important now, look, that while you're putting it in, I'll move these copper pipes. Okay, so they don't break here.
So we're aiming here, right?
That's right. And gently, and then as soon as the second person gets the wire, they'll pull it out for you. Okay, that's enough now.
Now we need to pull it out from that side, that's right. Now unboxing the outdoor unit. We've already opened the indoor one. Oh, and it has legs, so you can actually set it down. And it could stand like that too, right? Right?
It can stand. In this case, though, we're not setting it down, we're hanging it because the roof here is made of wood. It's a wooden structure, and there's a risk that vibrations could transfer. Here's a concrete wall. We'll hang it up, and there should be no problem.
And coming back to the topic of 2 units, because we know you can have either a split or a multi-split system. Here we're using 2 units, but we could have just 1 outdoor unit, right?
Yes, we could have 1 outdoor unit, but to be honest, it's not very economical. In the case of installing 2 units in a house, because a multi-unit setup is more expensive than installing 2 single splits. A multi-split really only starts to make sense with 3 units, and it also has its advantages. Because, for example, if there was a situation where you wanted to cool the upstairs because it gets really hot from the sun, and at the same time you wanted to cool the air downstairs. With 2 separate systems, you can do that. Unfortunately, with a multi-split, that's not possible, because you either heat with both air conditioners or cool with both.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. And here we can separate it depending on the floor where it's warmer and where it's cooler. We have a very similar, or even the same brand of air conditioner in our burger place. So maybe you'd like to see soon what servicing an air conditioner like that looks like. Spring is coming, and we haven't serviced or cleaned that unit in a long time. So we can show you that, dear viewers of the Do ROBOTY channel, if such comments appear in the comment section. Can I be an installer now since I'm doing so well?
You're welcome to join us.
That's exactly what I wanted to ask too. How do you become an installer? Do you need to have finished any schools, have experience, practical knowledge, a license, courses? How does it work?
You know, it's like this. Really, anyone can become an installer as long as they have the willingness and some basic technical knowledge. At the beginning, of course, you usually start as an installer's assistant, and then, as you gain experience with installations, you need to have F-gas certification to be able to install devices that contain these gases.
Some time ago, I did an episode about car air conditioning. Are those the same F-gases? Is it the same license?
Yes, those are the same F-gases. It's regulated by UDET, and UDET is the institution that oversees all these F-gases, okay?
So we have that license and probably some CEPI certification up to 1,000 kilowatts?
Exactly. To connect it, since it's an electrical device, you need to plug it in and have CP certification. Honestly, those are the only real requirements.
Right and left hand.
That's the basics, our starting point, plus some common sense.
Since we have a break and the crew has to eat the best burgers, we'll have a meal and in a moment we'll get back to the next stage. What do we still have left?
We have one installation left to do upstairs, connect the units, and then we start it up.
Damn, so we're doing pretty well considering it's 2 o'clock and we've been at it since 9, plus all the talking. That's good. Quick lunch and we're back to work.
We put this stone on the pipe in such a way that the pipe reaches this marker. We have the flare nut, that's very important. Very often when I first started working, I would forget to put on these flare nuts during flaring, and then I had to go back and do it again.
Cut it open because
Sometimes it could.
not be enough copper left.
It happens sometimes. And now we put the flaring tool on from the top, close the button, and here you have the start.
I can't see. And something is already happening there, right?
There's a kind of screw there that expands the tube for us. And in a moment, we'll show the viewers what a nice flare Wojtek made here.
Hopefully.
We're opening it.
How? Just like that.
And we pull it out. Good, yes. Here you go.
Aha, and now it won't come off. Ah, this is the so-called flare.
Yes, and now it will fit very nicely here against this fitting.
No gasket, nothing at all.
Nothing at all. And we'll tighten it with a wrench now. Exactly. And now we can be sure that we've connected it the right way.
Also, the line covers need to be secured.
Right? Yes, now all that's really left is to connect the control and the power supply, close the line covers, and properly secure the opening so that no moisture or animals can get into the house through that hole. And the next step will be pressurizing it and checking for leaks with nitrogen. And after the nitrogen test, we'll evacuate the system, create a vacuum, basically remove all the moisture from it by vacuuming, and then we can start it up. Perfect devices.
First we start it up, then begin cooling.
Exactly.
And here it's the same as above.
It's the same thing. We put the unit on the mounting bracket. It jumped up. We put something here that will hold the AC unit away from the wall for us. And here we already have the fittings hidden. And we need to connect these fittings to the installation we made.
Moving on to how much all of this costs. Let's say your work, because everyone can price the equipment themselves, they'll go to the store and know how much each device costs, but how is the work of an installer priced? Let's discuss the cost of installing one device for now.
Here in Silesia, for installing a device, depending on what kind of device it is, the charge is from about 3, 5, even up to 6,000 zlotys, and that includes everything, both the device and the installation. With the device, yes. The installation itself, the simplest installation, costs around 1,500, 1,600 zlotys net. That's for up to 5 meters of line set, somewhere near the balcony with one hole through the wall.
With 2 people, because we also said at the beginning of this episode that at least 2 people have to carry out such an installation. We have 1,000 to 1,500 zlotys for the installation, and when it comes to the monthly earnings of an installer who does several installations in a row, let's say.
A good installer, I think, earns from 5,000 and up, depending also on the size of the company, how many installations they do, and also on the region, because that's really a key issue.
Usually 5,000 to 6,000, but sometimes you might make 7,000 to 8,000.
I suspect that really good installers who are able to install 2 devices in a day can easily make even 10,000 without any problem.
But we also have to mention the seasonality of this job, that in some seasons you probably make 12,000 a month, and in others it probably drops to 6 or 7 when there are fewer installations or services. In the meantime, we got caught by the rain, the conditions are what they are, but we have to keep working, right? Exactly.
We have to keep working. Now we're going to check the system for leaks. We'll pump in some nitrogen, check if the system is sealed. The cylinder is connected to the gauges, and from the gauges we're pumping it into the system. Exactly. We leave the gas in for a certain period of time, and after that we come back and check if the pressure in the system is the same or if it has dropped, and if necessary, we can also look for any leaks. There are special leak detection foams we apply to the fittings. We apply this foam to the screws, and if there's a leak, the gas will simply bubble, and then we know.
I did those flares wrong, for example, in that case.
That's how we would know then.
This is an important stage since I made those flares, and we don't want leaks.
All right, the system is practically pressurized. Now we'll pressurize this one, and then we'll have a moment to ourselves to finish the installation inside, the aesthetics, the line covers, whatever needs to be put in.
Also, the electrical work here and connecting this wire will let us tie everything together and finish. Exactly. You could say it's just the finishing touches now.
Exactly. Now we just need to secure the fittings here so nothing condenses, connect the condensate drain, the power, and that's it.
So condensate is always present, but what if the air conditioner is on a balcony on the 5th, 7th, or 12th floor, or somewhere that's hard to drain it?
Usually it works like this. After getting approval from the administration, they give us guidelines that tell us what to do with the condensate. Usually the information is that we have to drain the condensate inside the building, meaning into the apartment. There are different ways to do this. Sometimes we install a condensate pump that pumps the condensate from the air conditioner and directs it to the sewage system. Or most often gravity is used. We drain it into a container that simply needs to be emptied from time to time.
Generally, the amount of condensate depends on what? On the temperature we set?
It depends on the ambient temperature, the ambient humidity, and surprisingly, a lot more condensate is produced when we have lower temperatures but very high humidity. Oh, so now we'll check if the installation is tight. It was 25 bar, so here you have the pressure.
And 25.
It's 25, so the system is tight, checked, let's release it.
So nothing leaked, so if nothing leaked?
So they're tight, otherwise the needle would have dropped. Good. Now we're releasing the nitrogen and we'll start evacuating the system. So we unscrew the gauge here. All the nitrogen will escape from the installation. We'll connect the vacuum pump, turn it on, and then we'll go inside because creating a vacuum will take a while, okay? Because we have to start everything up, suck it out, pump it out, so that all the moisture is also removed from the system. So let's get the pump ready here.
Yes.
It's a special pump for extracting air. We'll connect it here in a moment.
Yes, to the same lines?
So this stays. Yes, we connect it to the same lines. Once all the nitrogen has left the system, we can connect the pump.
How long does it take approximately?
You know, it really all depends on the length of the installation, but for the kind of installation we have here, half an hour is the minimum time needed for pumping. So yes, we close it. Now we'll switch the gauges to this side to get a more accurate reading. Here we have a manometer that shows us the low pressure, and here we have a manometer that shows us a bit more, up to 55 bar. Okay. And here we have up to 25, they're up to a safe 38, so we close it here.
We extract from both devices the same way, so using one device takes an hour.
Fortunately, we have another one in the car, electric, so we'll connect the second one right away so we don't waste time. The pump is starting, we open it.
But it's nice that everything happens at the same time if there are two people, because let's say you're already connecting the power here, connecting the devices, and the other person is closing up the cable channels, already finishing up the indoor units. So it's not like we wait here for half an hour and nothing else can happen. Exactly. It's just that there are certain stages that need to be supervised.
Exactly. That's why it's always worth doing the job with two people, because it goes faster and more smoothly. The air has been pumped out, the air conditioner is ready, so Wojtek, all that's left is to flip the circuit breaker up.
The cables have also been connected in the meantime, so one power cable for 2 devices, and that's what, 4?
4 or 5, exactly.
Attention. It didn't trip.
Nothing exploded, and the air conditioners beeped. So let's go, let's see now.
We're going inside. It beeped, it's on, oh, and it's displaying. Because it's under this, right? You see, that's nice. We have the remote, so now what? Let's turn it on.
Yes, we're turning it on. You can change the temperature, so soon the whole...
We'll read the entire manual, but that's not for the Do Roboty channel. Right now we're discussing the work. I'll summarize the installation and the installer's work. I expected there would be a lot more of these connection and assembly elements here. You know, copper elbows, something we have to solder, weld, and so on, like, I don't know, with radiators where you have to connect everything. Here it was. I won't say simple, but kind of similar. Snap, here we expand, we screw it together. We hang it up, and the most important thing that surprised me was that there wasn't as much mess. We drilled using a vacuum cleaner, and there are no big or small line set covers here. That's just how our installation went. They may appear sometimes, but since we drilled well into the garage, I think the installation went smoothly.
Very good, very good. Honestly, I'm surprised by how you work and how much you knew about these air conditioners.
I tried to prepare for every episode.
Exactly. I also know that after every episode you collect some money, so I prepared as well. You definitely deserve a day's pay.
The Do Roboty donation jar is here, of course. If you follow the Do Roboty channel, you know what we do with this money later.
So from us too, here's a day's pay for you.
How much is a day's pay here?
A lot.
That I don't want to go in.
I don't want to go in. Wait, let's do it this way. Stick.
We open.
There we go, done.
250 zlotys for a day's work. What we said earlier about those rates, so yeah, you can make 7 or even 10,000 if you're, let's say, a good installer, but that's more in the season because for service jobs, the rates look different.
Exactly. Like I said, everything depends on the region and also on the installer's knowledge. You can just do installations, but I'll mention here that you can also be a service technician for these devices. And obviously, there's more money in it for such service technicians.
I'll just mention that if you'd like to see what this service looks like, as I said earlier, we've had this equipment installed in our burger place for 2 years now, so we'll be able to check and service it soon. You just need to leave lots of comments and likes under this episode. I want to thank you very much for supporting our Do Roboty donation jar and for showing and explaining so beautifully the work of an air conditioning installer. I think everyone enjoyed it, so I wish you all the best on this air conditioning journey ahead. May everything be installed as smoothly as possible. See you.
I wish that the air conditioning keeps things comfortable here for as long as possible and that it works without any problems.
Thank you very much.
See you!